Hi, I'm Eric Bolling in for Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Let's get straight to our top story. The left mobilizing against President-elect Donald Trump. New York City's far-left mayor Bill de Blasio today sent a battle warning to President-elect Trump, threatening legal action over Trump's rumored Muslim registry and pledging continued defiance on federal immigration law.
If all Muslims are required to register, we will take legal action to block it. If the federal government wants our police officers to tear immigrant families apart, we will refuse to do it. If the federal government tries to deport law-abiding New Yorkers who have no representation, we will step in.
With Mr. Trump's campaign pledges to punish sanctuary cities and to institute law and order policies, battle lines are quickly being drawn between the Trump administration and liberal big cities. Joining us now for reaction in Little Rock, Arkansas is Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is a senior advisor to the Trump campaign, and here in studio, Michael Wildless, an immigration attorney who represents Melania Trump and a former prosecutor. Sarah, we'll start with you. So Donald Trump has said that he was going to be tough on immigration. We all knew that. When he says he's putting up Jeff Sessions, Senator Sessions, as an AG, he says he will continue to be tough on immigration. Why are the big city mayors like Bill de Blasio and Rahm Emanuel having such a hard time following federal law?
Look, that's a question you'll have to ask them, because I think myself and the rest of the country are pretty baffled why any major city mayor would completely ignore federal law. That's not what they were elected to do. They don't have the authority to just completely ignore federal law. And frankly, they take in billions of dollars from federal grants that can be pulled back and taken away from them if they don't follow the law. And I think they need to be really careful about the situation they put their cities in by completely ignoring federal law and not doing what the president-elect and what the top law enforcement official, which will be Senator Jeff Sessions as Attorney General, are enforcing. Look, the law is there for a reason. We don't get to decide which ones we want to follow and which ones we don't. And that applies even to big city liberal mayors like in Chicago and San Francisco. And I think it's a big, big mistake for them.
And in New York, Michael, what's really going on here? Are these mayors, do they really plan on following and pursuing this line, or do they just want to make a bigger platform for themselves?
Thank you for having me, Eric. I had the privilege of actually being a mayor myself in New Jersey and a former federal prosecutor, so I understand the issue and the debate that's going here. We cannot set policy or erode out of fear or erode the public trust of anybody on U.S. soil. We have to make sure that we act competently when we respond here. We should be cultivating foreign nationals. We should be acting.
What does that mean? If they break the law and come here, we should say you can stay?
We should be acting to develop intelligence and to work with our community. Are we going to now start registering? Are we going to register Muslim citizens?
Well, we'll get to registry in a second, but let's talk about the sanctuary city policy that some 300 municipalities around the country institute, where if you're caught and you're an illegal, you're not going to be turned over to ICE, immigration enforcement.
We have a bifurcated system. The federal government handles immigration. Local police handle local matters. The police cannot they don't have the forensic ability to enforce immigration laws, and they should be working to cultivate foreign nationals.
Should a local police
it's not their job. It's
department
the job.
Turn over an illegal that they catch to ICE. That's the law.
If somebody,
should they not do that?
If they committed a very serious crime, it's up to the federal government to go get that individual. It's not the job for men in blue, ladies in blue, to start turning over police to from local communities. We're getting this wrong, Eric, and we can't afford to do.
Enforcement to enforce the law. It is the job of local law enforcement to actually enforce the law. This is the law. It's not like we're making things up and we've just decided we want this to happen.
Were created during President Reagan's reign. We have a new normal now. We've now shifted the responsibility to employers.
But the law hasn't changed.
But the law is still the vibrancy that the immigrant community has given. If you just take a few nautical miles from this studio, the Guatemalan and the El Salvadoran community in the South Bronx, we are not honoring that old age, that immigrant vitality, that DNA that has made America special.
Sarah, I don't think anyone, including Donald Trump, has ever said we shouldn't have immigrants into the United States. No, I think the policy is, yes, have a wide open immigrant policy, yet make it legal.
We have to have law and order in this country. Without borders, without law and order, we are not a country. And we can't just decide to pick and choose which laws we want to follow, or we get just pure chaos.
You have right
and
now people living in fear.
The precedent that these mayors are setting by ignoring the law is just, it's absurd. You cannot function as a country if you do not have law and order.
I agree that we are a nation of law and we have to restore order. But you have people now living in fear. There are rabbis going into mosques to give people the assurance that what happened following 9/11, the NSEER's registration for non-immigrants is permitted by law and will be debated. But to take American citizens who are Muslim and then put them,
nobody has said that we're going to take
American
citizens.
Hold on, we're conflating two different stories here now. The other part of the segment that we teased up here was whether there should be a Muslim registry. Now, Chris Kobach, the Secretary of State of Kansas, who also met with Donald Trump, Sarah, is one who is in favor of a Muslim registry. Now, Donald Trump and the Trump administration has said, we're not necessarily going to look for all Muslims to register. That's not what they're looking for.
That's not going to happen just because Chris Kobach said it. He's not the president-elect. Donald Trump is.
Good.
He is not putting in place a Muslim registry. What he said has been very clear. It's been very consistent, is that we're going to put a temporary hold on countries that have a problem with ISIS, like Syria, until we can vet people coming into our country better. The #1 job of the president and the president-elect are to protect the citizens in America. We can't do that if we're allowing just open borders and we don't know who people are coming into our country. He's not saying we block everybody or that we block all Muslims, but that we have to have a process in place to vet these people coming into our country. We need to know why they're here, what they want to do here, and make sure that they're not looking to do something.
Sarah, part of our duty here is to get this right, to make sure that we aren't going around in a Gestapo-like society and making lists of people that we don't want to have here. We can't afford, and we have to be smart and fair in the way we execute the laws. The laws are on the books, and they should be respected. When a person comes into America illegally, they break the law. The ongoing retention or being on U.S. soil is not a continuous crime. We have to address this. Part of our homeland is at risk if we don't.
You've just admitted that when you enter the country illegally, you've broken the law.
But
it doesn't go away.
But it's not the NYPD.
But it also doesn't go away once you spend. This isn't the game of tag where you're safe if you've been there for 5 minutes.
Respectfully, you're wrong. Once you're on U.S. soil, you're entitled to the protections of the 14th Amendment. And you're not going to have the NYPD round up people because the federal government has a broken system.
Federal law says if you're illegal and you're caught, you will go back to where you came from.
Good luck taking 11 million people with 5,000 ICE agents.
I'm not suggesting that's the answer. I'm simply saying that's what the law says. All right, we're going to leave it right there. Sarah and Michael, thank you very much.